Carmen. Today we've got a reading for you about somebody who is invoking a person's name in order to get the outcome that they want in a situation. Now, this could be as simple as someone saying, I am so-and-so's niece, or that person who owns the business is my partner, therefore I'm entitled to certain treatment. This could be, I have a really great lawyer and you're going to hear from them. But we have stating someone's name because we know this name is going to impact how someone thinks they might be able to engage in battle or deal with an argument or have to like prove things. But we could also have someone here who's trying to use spells or thinks that they can by some sort of manipulation in order to get what they want. So let's call on spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box for you, as is more information on how to become a member. Thank you to the current members. You can also find out how to check out my soy candles on Etsy in the description box. Let's go with the Wild Reflections Tarot and see what this using someone's name is all about. I didn't really specify. This says cartouche on it, which is, I don't know, I would guess they have an example, but my understanding is that cartouche generally has like an oval around, or I don't know if it's up and down, then it would be that way, right? But it is someone's name. Divine names of power is what the card says. So let's see what we're looking at. Who's using this name? Five of Pentacles in the reverse, the Hierophant in the reverse, and the Hanged Man in the reverse. So this is someone who knows that they've broken the rules or knows that they have caused some sort of problem here. Again, it could be a person who's looking at potentially getting fired and then they say, yeah, but you know, my dad's the boss, so good luck with that. This could be someone who feels like they're in a legal, like a compromised legal situation, but they feel like they can get out of it because they know someone. Emperor in the reverse. Judgment. So yeah, I know I did the thing, or yeah, I'm probably a problem, but I'm shielded. I don't have to worry about dealing with the consequences that many of you expect me to have to deal with because I know someone important. And you're like, Carmen, the Emperor's in the reverse. Yeah, that's because I do think this is someone who uses their power not the way that they should. Hello, Rick. How you doing? So this could be someone who has previously shielded their, you know, if it's their adult child, for example, previously shielded them from consequences of their actions. Judgment, or sorry, Temperance in the reverse. And the Knight of Wands. Yeah, so we have someone who in general is seen as pretty respectable, or they have, you know, a really successful business, maybe a really well-known like marriage. They might be a pillar of the community, right? This could be someone who works in the church, but I think it would be more likely that this is someone who works in a legal situation. So it could even be like a judge, right? But this is someone who's pretty confident that because of their connection, because they know this person's name and that person knows theirs, that they don't have to face any consequences. How you doing? I hope you're having a good day, Marcus. April 27 or sooner. All right, I've added that. Thank you, Marcus. I hope you're enjoying your weekend so far. It's getting a little bit warmer. I heard the birds chirping this morning, so that's a nice sign. We've got the the Five of Wands in the reverse and the Six of Wands. It's like, yeah, you probably do have like proof that I did something. Yeah, I probably was, you know, the person that took that thing or hurt that person or whatever they did. But they're looking at the situation with like a broad view of who's involved, thinking that person would help me or maybe that person would help me. Like, I'll be just fine. Don't worry about me. I know that there's like, you know, proof and stuff. But it doesn't matter because I know so-and-so. Hello, Brujo. How are you doing? So you're thinking it's going to be early, huh? Well, we've got Death in the reverse, the Tower in the reverse, and the Six of Swords. Look at the look on that person's face. It's like, yeah, I did it, but I'll be fine. Just watch me. It's not gonna be a problem. For other people, yeah. If they'd done what I did, they would have this problem. Not me. Death in the reverse. I'm not worried. Nothing's gonna change. It'll be like the previous situations where someone came to my rescue and, you know, got me out of jail. Justice in the reverse. Page of Pentacles. Might take a couple days, might take a couple weeks, but even though I probably belong in a jail cell, I'm not going to end up in one. I'll be on my way and doing something else in a couple weeks. So this person's just like completely confident that whatever it was that they did, however they broke the law or whoever they've upset, they've got this person that they can count on to make everything go away. King of Wands in the reverse. Three of Cups. Ace of Cups. So the King of Wands in the reverse would be that Emperor in the reverse, the one who has the key to getting this person out of jail, it looks like. This is someone who leverages fear or anger, maybe even threats to get what they want. But I do also feel like this is someone who has probably got a lot of money or has a successful business. There are people who look at this person and then think, I could get something if I do what you want me to do. So this Ace of Cups, it's a really sweet card, but what I'm seeing it as is more of like a bribe. So, hey, Judge, I know that that case looks like it's pretty clear that person's guilty. But I heard you've always wanted a BMW. Oh, look at those keys that just appeared on your desk. I feel like this is corruption. Bribery. Not shrubbery. Bribery. Hello, how's it going? Christina? I don't know if I said that correctly. I don't mind if you'd like to quote the Bible or say that Jesus loves me. I do have a cross up here from my grandparents' church, so keep that in mind. But I will block you on the live chat if you are here to judge other people's beliefs, okay? We want to make sure it's a tolerance live chat. Hello, Bug Bomb. How are you doing? I'm not sure if you're trying to be disrespectful, but I will bounce you as well if you'd like to be. I don't know. It's Saturday, man. Chill. Hello, Vince. How you doing? I do love Wisconsin. I'm from Minnesota originally, and the best cheese curds on the face of the planet come from Wisconsin. Now, I was just talking about cheese curds from a restaurant in St. Paul, but I'm talking about the squeaky, fresh kind of cheese curds. Wisconsin. Anyways, welcome. Hello, Paul. Hello, Ruben. How you doing? Hello, Floyd. So we have Temperance and the Five of Cups. The thing is, the King of Wands in the reverse is kind of getting sick of this person. For the purposes of the reading, I'm going to probably refer to it as this is like a family member, but keep in mind, this could be some other association where the two feel like some obligation to each other. But it feels to me like this is, you know, oh, my uncle's going to help me out, or oh, my mom will call the teacher, you know? Makes me think of seeing that story about someone who brought their mom to the interview. Or like there's been some about like bringing mom to like first dates. Like, anyways, we have somebody who is dependent upon a person that is powerful. And when they get into trouble, they say this person's name or they call this person up. And all of a sudden, mischief managed, no big deal. Hello, Logan. How are you doing? Hello, Kumar. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Death and the Wheel of Fortune. I don't know, guys. This is looking like a little bit more of a specific reading, so just keep that in mind. But I do feel like this could potentially be about someone who there was maybe some like battery, physical assault. I feel like there is concern over whether or not someone may pass away. So this Wheel of Fortune, this seems to be like that moment of hesitation, or like, you know, when people are like, they're like gasping because someone is betting big in Vegas and the roulette wheel is about to start, like, or about to stop on the number that they asked for. This is like someone who's worried I'm going to potentially look at a more difficult consequence if someone maybe passes away. Hello, Olivia. How are you doing? I do personal questions at the end of the general reading, which is in about 20 minutes, with priority to those who tip or donate. Marcus is a great example. Oh, you're so sweet. Marcus, you let me know if you have something in particular, but I'm just writing down random. We'll see if there's any other additional message for you. I think the most important thing, we aren't all going to agree on the same beliefs. I think that's part of what makes free will so beautiful, is you can choose your own situation in a lot of different ways. But I think you can have the happiest life if you find a way to learn how to appreciate people who are different from you, and learn how to acknowledge that you can learn lessons from people that you might not expect. But I remember having a really pivotal moment as a teenager where I had a conversation with a Buddhist while I was like near a theology, I don't know, college? Very religious college. And it was so interesting to see how things differ, but also everything just kind of boils down to, are you trying to make the world a better place? Are you trying to better yourself? We've got, thank you for the tip, by the way, Marcus. Hello, Matt. How are you doing? We've got the King of Pentacles and the Hanged Man. Gosh, this is getting pretty specific, you guys. I think we have someone who has money and power. This is clarifying our King of Wands in the reverse. So this person is willing to bribe people, and they see that somebody is in a really tight spot, okay? I can't help but think of George Clooney every time I say that. Damn, we're in a tight spot. I think it's important to be able to leverage both. I have a great respect for the study of philosophy, thanks to my father. And I have a deep appreciation for literature in general. I think it's important to understand science and evidence, right? But obviously I believe in intuition. Do you have any evidence? Thank you, Mara. Do we have a question in mind? It always helps to include it in the super chat, by the way. After the general reading is when I do the personal questions, Livia. What else do we have? I think we might have to use the True Crime deck today. Knight of Wands and the Seven of Cups in the reverse. All we have to do is create reasonable doubt. So if we can find somebody else that could have potentially done the thing that you actually did, then we'll be fine. I think this is someone looking for, what is it, a patsy? I think. Looking for a scapegoat, or at least doubt that will enable this person to not have to deal with the consequences. Oh, they're lying. And I do feel like this is probably a family member. We've got the Ten of Pentacles. But this could also be, oh yeah, I can drop some money on the most expensive lawyer around. Someone who will absolutely lie for me, or bend the truth, or find a loophole, or find a way to alleviate this issue. So we're dealing with a few liars here. We have another Six of Swords. I do feel like something that has happened at night with not a lot of witnesses, or maybe very few. I feel like in particular an issue is where somebody's location from their phone happened to place them at a certain time. So I feel like there's a desire to discredit some sort of information regarding, I mean, it seems like it would be, shoot, what's that word that starts with a C? Is it circumstantial? The evidence that isn't quite enough to convict someone. We have someone here who's trying to create doubt, like I said. So if you have anything that's even like partially evidence, I'll find a way to say, see, the glove doesn't fit. Now, some of you youngins out there might not know what I'm referencing. But yeah, sometimes people want to believe that a person is innocent, even when the evidence is staring them right in the face, which is a perfect comment when we're talking about the Empress card with the pokey bra. Look, they're gonna be like, that wasn't my car, or that car got stolen, or you know, you can't prove that that shovel was used for that purpose. I don't know, man. We got some gymnastics here of the mental of the mental kind, and they're trying to make it seem like whatever evidence you think you have, it's not actually that definitive. Aw, thank you, Marcus. If you want to be a moderator, you let me know, Marcus. And you too, Matt. Ooh, I'm trying to think of when I heard, oh no, I might be a little bit embarrassed now, because I think it was maybe Ancient Aliens where I first heard of that. Don't judge me. I feel like this person has hurt someone they should be kind to. Probably a romantic partner, to be honest. And I do feel like we have someone who is not doing very well and maybe cannot talk. But we're trying to, not we. The King of Pentacles, King of Wands in the reverse individual is trying to make sure that this smarmy little Six of Swords D-bag is not held responsible for someone getting hurt. I do not like it. All right, this is the True Crime Oracle, if I can get it off the table. All right. morning, Joaquin. How are you doing? Yay! That's awesome. Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, that would make sense then. Retinma Aria. Hello, Gnostic. How are we doing today? Hello, Javante. Oh, did it actually? Oh, it probably doesn't change it until your next comment. We'll see if it shows the little wrench behind your name now, Marcus. Wow, okay, we have a lot to say. Okay. Okay, this is creeping me out. Here we go. So we have someone who has some level of fame, who feels like they don't ever have to face the consequences. We have a team of people, like the scandal chick, saying, oh, well, we can discredit this person and we can make this person seem like a liar, and we can definitely say that, you know, that wasn't actually in their possession at the time. We have a whole team trying to get this person to be seen as innocent when they are definitely guilty, for entertainment purposes only. But I do think that there was someone who either did pass away or is potentially really not in a great spot right now. But to see the water in the tunnel, it feels to me like there is discussion over where someone is found. It could be that there's one person who did pass away and there's one person who is also involved in the situation who might have the ability to talk about it, but is in a coma, right? Could be more than one person. Hello, J Mark. I'm glad to hear that, Joaquin. Hello, April. Hello, Sergetta. I don't know if I said your name right. I hope I did. Hello, Devin. How are you doing? That's sweet. Thank you, Paul. Oh, Lord. So we have someone who is... I don't even want to show that card. I think we have someone who is responsible for multiple people being in harm's way. And it's due to, I feel like it's due to negligence. So if there are regulations you were supposed to follow, or if, you know, you felt like you could fly your private jet, but you didn't have the right, I don't know, you have to have a permit, license, whatever it is. There's someone here who put others in harm's way, probably in a party situation. And this person is probably someone who has a level of fame or wealth. And they're trying to resolve themselves or absolve themselves of responsibility for this lapse in judgment that did end up causing people like bodily harm. So, not exactly the most honest individual, but I feel like that person that they felt like they could help or that could help them is probably like a person who knows the law very well, or could also be a family member if this is like, you know, a Nepo baby. Hey, Mark, I'm real, but that's not how it works. Does it look like I'm a genie in the bottle? No. The channel is about... Ooh, I just fell off my chair a little bit there. The channel is about spiritual development and personal growth. It is not about making people rich just because they demand it. So I encourage you to think about how abundance can include things that are also not material. Hello, Lionel. Hello, Vic. How are you doing? Hey, Livia, if you want to hold off with the personal questions, I've seen it a few times, and you could actually have a wonderful conversation with some of the folks in the live chat. Hello, Ernest. I hope you're having a good day. So, look, we've got someone who feels like they can avoid consequences for someone that they would have called a friend or would have been engaged in a romantic relationship with. They caused this person harm. It could even be, you know, they got behind the wheel when they were not sober, but they don't want to be held responsible for this. So they might be destroying some sort of evidence, or they might be calling into question the veracity of some report or someone's comment on the situation. But the end goal here is, I did something, I'm responsible, but I don't want to be held responsible, and I think I know how to get out of it. Thank you, Marit. I've added that. Taurus, good. All right, let's get a few more. We're at 27 minutes, so probably like another 5 minutes or so of the general reading. So it's kind of difficult to do a post every time I do that, and I don't want y'all to get spammed. Like, I don't know, there's been a couple of channels where they posted, you know, 8 times a day or something, and I got a little bit irritated with it, so I don't want to cause that for you all. The only way I can really make it work where I do as much content as I do is if I can kind of like do it on the drop of a hat, or at the drop of a hat. That being said, I do know that if notifications haven't been working for you, sometimes what happens is undoing the notifications, or even sometimes unsubscribing and then resubscribing and putting the notifications back on. But just like blanket statement, YouTube is not the best at technology. I used to sell technology. I had to troubleshoot my own problem for YouTube. So I'm just saying, like, some of the stuff is not great. Sorry, YouTube. Don't hate me. But it's true. Hello, Envy. How are you doing? Hello, Key Controller. Hello, Justice. I don't know what that means, but God bless you too. We've got the Six of Cups. I feel like this is a sweetheart. I feel like this is someone that people care deeply for and people want answers. And this celebrity is thinking that they can get away with it. Maybe for some of you, this is a person who's a celebrity in their own mind, right? Doesn't have to mean that all of us would recognize this person's name, but I do feel like they have at least got some wealth or access to it through a family member. This is someone who feels like, if I have the right team, if I have the right strategy, I don't have to worry about actually paying any kind of, you know, consequences for that. You know, it'll be easy. That's how they feel. Just enough doubt, just enough like, oh, it wasn't my fault, it was somebody else's. And then this person feels like they'll be just fine, no problems. This is the Path of Shadows. Hey, Angel. Likewise, it is simple on my channel, and I think stated pretty frequently that if you would like to participate in my live chat, it is required for you to be respectful of others' beliefs, and coming in here with the, like, fire and brimstone stuff, it's not fun. Hello, Rachel. However, I wish you a great weekend. Just, you know, That's like, that approach is kind of like when you go on a first date and someone introduces themselves, and before you even have like any conversation, they just go right in for a kiss. Like, it's too soon, man. It's like, get to know somebody and then have like the deeper conversations. Other than that, how are you doing? Oh, I hope it warms up for y'all up there. Hello, Barbie. How are you doing? Nah, you're good. So we've got the crystal ball, intuition, clairvoyance, focus, abandoned carnival. What once was vibrant remains now silenced and still. This place held laughter, even if now no one could believe. I do think that this was something that happened while driving in an inadvisable place or walking in an inadvisable place. Like, if you explore an abandoned warehouse, for example, you might find floors that are not reliable and you could fall through to the floor below. If you are hanging out in an actual tunnel, especially if it's an underground one, you could get into some trouble if there is any flooding happening. There's something here where it's like you took a risk, you did something that there was an expectation could have some harmful result, and you were willing to just kind of be frivolent or careless with that person's life by not warning them or by not taking the precautions to avoid somebody getting hurt in that situation. So we also have the sabotaging relationships and the vampire cards. In the tangle of love, my demons emerge, and I wonder if yours will ask them to dance. I think we have someone who knows they're bad at love, but they enjoy doing it anyways. But I don't feel like they really care about what they have to offer someone else. It's really just about this person being a bit greedy. So I don't feel like this would be someone who's very commitment energy. I think this would be someone who's probably quite often seeing multiple people at the same time. In the night's embrace, where the desires ignite, my hunger keeps consuming all in sight. It's never enough for this person. All right, let's get started on personal questions. So for Marcus, we've got, will the baby arrive April 27 or sooner? Three of Wands in the reverse, the Sun, and the Lovers in the reverse. I do think it's going to be before. I do think it's going to be in an unexpected moment. Why the Lovers in the reverse, though? I think the baby will arrive possibly while a family member or some really good friend is visiting, or you are visiting them. Probably more likely that they're visiting you. So it looks to me like this baby arrives when you have support or someone who can, you know, bake you a casserole or help you with a grocery store run. I feel like the most likely time is the second week of April. Because we have the Four of Cups and the Two of Swords. It could go into the third week of April. It depends a lot on like nutrition and movement. Movement in particular. How active is your wife? Is she going for walks? Things like that. Look, I'm not an expert in that kind of stuff, but I do feel like there's a possibility we have someone who's trying to get the baby to come a little bit earlier. And so I think I've heard that if you go for a walk, sometimes that helps. But I think it's a little bit before mid to maybe even early April. And again, I feel like it's because someone's over here like, I'm ready, I'm done. Like, can you just like happen already? Which feels like an understandable sentiment. All right, and then anything else for Marcus, please? Two of Wands in the reverse, Four of Wands in the reverse, King of Swords in the reverse. This is also just a little bit of a warning that there's someone here that I think is not your favorite person. Someone who is a bit acerbic, or they're not very nice. They don't look for the nice way to say things. They'd be like, you look fat today, instead of like, I like the other one better, you know? Like, this person's not eloquent with their words. This is someone who's going to encounter some unexpected issue with a living situation, or perhaps like financial security. This person is going to ask for help from you, and you might be a little bit torn on what to do about that. So this feels to me like misfortune that happens to someone else, and you and the wife have to be able to negotiate, or like have a conversation, come to an agreement about what are we going to do about that, and is that something that we feel like we can help or do something to, you know, make a little bit less painful for that person. Even though I feel like they're a little bit cantankerous, a little bit like difficult. You know, like I could be difficult sometimes, but I feel like this is like a defining characteristic. Ooh, hold on. Hello, Mr. RN. How are you doing? Hello, Kay Garrett. What's up? 4 is April. 2, with the way the Two of Swords is, it's a week for me. So, yeah. Hello, Jeff. How you doing? So let me get Nat's question down. Thank you for the tip, Nat. I hope your weekend is going well. Energy around Katie. And me working together. Awesome. I've added that. Marcus, thank you for being awesome. And we're going to move on to Marit's question. Are there bad energies close to Marit? What does Marit need to know about any King of Cups, Four of Swords, Ten of Pentacles in the reverse? Yeah, I do feel like there is someone who is on some sort of, like maybe they've had some accident or injury recently, or illness, but this is somebody who has been kind of resting, or at least telling other people that they're sick, even though they might not actually be sick. But this is someone who is, they're like a sponge. They like to take from other people. This could be someone that you've known for a long time, or even a family connection. This person is hoping to get balance or stability in their life through other people solving their issues, and they're going to lie to you about a situation. So the bad energy here is negative intentions, right? I'm going to lie to you about something and ask for money, or try to find a way to get that money from other people. And it could even be sneaking and thievery. So yeah, this is a warning saying there's someone here who is not in a good place financially and looking for opportunities to fix that through other people's assets. Oh, Betty, I'm sending you healing energy. I hope things get better for you. I'm so sorry you're going through that. Hey, Wolfpack. I don't ask about the Super Bowl, and neither should you. No matter what you got going on in your life, there's something else that is more important. But I do think there's going to be a bunch of haters. I'll tell you that much. Yes. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you. And... oh, I switched the tarot deck too soon. Hold on, hold on. I forgot we got a second question for Marit. Has Marit made a difference towards good? There seems to be a misconception or a misperception of a situation where it seems like you have been able to like cross something off the list or you did the right thing, but it's because someone wasn't fully honest with you about the situation. And there's an opportunity here for you to actually cross that thing off the list. King of Pentacles in the reverse. I feel like this opportunity is in March. I do think that you have the ability to be compassionate and be there or supportive for someone, but you also have ability to, within March, maybe even sooner, you have the ability to be more clear about boundaries or what is acceptable. So I feel like there is a shift in your energy in terms of feeling more balanced. So have you made progress? Yes. Have you made the difference you were trying to? There's still a little bit more work left, but shouldn't be too much longer. Hello, Cozy Cat. How are you doing? Hello, Camilla. How are you doing? Hey, Rooster. I actually like a lot of books that are not the Bible. Don't have a problem with the Bible, but you're going to have to be a little bit more respectful if you'd like to hang out in my live chat. Thanks for being so kind to people, Matt. If anyone's able to send some healing energy towards Betty, I super appreciate you for doing that. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Mac. How are we doing? Oh, no. Hold, please. Okay, so we've got Nat up next. What is the energy around Katie and me working together? Hanged Kitty or Hanged Man in the reverse. 4 of Cups. Queen of Cups and the Tower. I think there's some good intentions here, but a mismatch in terms of the skills that you bring to the table. I don't want this to sound like negative because I feel like you both are talented individuals, but it's like you both do well at this and then there's no one that's good at this. So I feel like it would potentially cause some problems. The way I would compare it, if it were like a romantic relationship, which I understand it's not, but if you're in a relationship with someone and you live together and both of you really hate to take out the trash and nobody ever takes out the trash, it's gonna get messy. I don't think it's as simple as taking out the trash, but it could be about finances. It could be about strategy or vision. There's something here about either it's too much time together or you don't have like the right combination of skills to cover the things that you would need, and it would put a stress on the relationship. The problem too is if you dive into this and then realize that something needs to change, then we might have somebody who takes it personally, even though it might just be a logic thing, right? I have to go, move elsewhere, so I can't move, or I can't work at this location anymore. I can't be in that business with you anymore. And then all of a sudden now the friendship is worse. So this kind of feels to me almost a little bit like with somebody who's thinking about getting out of the friend zone, because you have to think about the long term. And I feel like there's too many potential problems with this particular opportunity. So it's not going to be fun, but I feel like it's best to have some sort of conversation about, I'm not sure if we would be able to navigate marketing if we did this together. I'm not sure that we would be able to have enough alone time if this, like, I worked at the same company and lived with my best friend. And I get it. Like, sometimes you don't anticipate how much you need to be able to have a little bit of distance, right? Because it ended up being a little bit too much. So no, probably not a good idea, but you might have another opportunity down the road that is a better fit for that. Hello, Chris. How are you doing? Yes, thank you for liking and subscribing. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we have. I'm trying to remember. Livia was asking about Eric. I'm going to do that real quick. Livia, if you're still out there, just make sure you like my video. What's going on with Eric? Strength in the reverse. King of Swords and the Hermit. I feel like this is someone who hesitates when things get serious. So is there interest? Yes. It may be more of a physical interest or like a lustful energy here with the Devil coming through. And the Knight of Wands. Yeah, I feel like this is, I would really like to get to know you without your clothes on, but as far as like a long term, I'm probably going to like run away long before it gets to that point, because we have Strength in the reverse and the Chariot in the reverse. So this is like, yeah, it would be fun, but like I'm not going to be around for very long. I got like things to do, places to be, and I don't want to like get caught up or anything. This is someone who looks at themselves as a bit of a loner, or someone who doesn't really need companionship, or doesn't want to have to make decisions based off of whether or not it would be respectful or mean to somebody else. I hope that works out, Nat Nat. Hello, 420th. Jesus says, stop lighting things on fire, Pyro. Seriously though, Jesus loves you too, but also probably a little bit more when you are tolerant of people. I think that would be my opinion anyways. I respect your beliefs. I ask that you also respect the beliefs of others, including mine, because it's my channel. Let's see if there's another question outside. Yes, thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that. I think that is probably what it means, right? If it's Pyro after 420, I think Matt's onto something. All right, you guys, let's do something fun. Since this one was a little bit, it's a little dark, you guys. What are the good things that are happening to the collective? You all out there, you choose a number, 1, 2, or 3. And I'm going to see what good things are happening. Oh, are you guys ready? I've got pile 1 already. Pile 1 is strength. So for those of you that chose number 1, this is saying you're going to find it easier to make the right decision in a situation that in the past you would have probably given into temptation or chosen the wrong thing. So whether this is, you know, substances, whether this is an ex that you finally don't need to answer the phone call at 1 a.m. in the morning, you are overcoming something important. So make sure that you give yourself a pat on the back for that. Pile 2. Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. You are able to let go of something that you've been investing in that you know you shouldn't. Maybe it's I'm giving up energy drinks, slowly but surely. Maybe it's something like that. You don't want to spend your money on this thing anymore. You have better things to do. So this feels to me like somebody who is improving their financial situation. And what do we have for pile 3? Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, you're letting go of someone who's been toxic in your life. This could be a friend. This could be going no contact with somebody in your family. Obviously, this could also be a relationship that is ending. But you are identifying or acknowledging that there's a pattern of distrust with this person or something that just doesn't really work with your development as a person. So even if it's just going low contact or saying, hey, you know, I really don't think that, you know, I can continue to see you as often. I do think that you're protecting your energy from somebody who tends to be a little bit unreasonable. This would be like the type of person who calls you up, they want to talk for an hour about themselves, but they don't ever ask any questions about you, or they expect you to pay for lunch every time. You know, there's something about this individual that comes through as pretty greedy or self-absorbed, and you're carving out a little bit more time for yourself and not making space for this person anymore is a win for you. Hello, Yuvi. How are you doing? Hello, John. Hello, Brittany. How you doing? Hello, Tom. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for hyping if you're able to. And thank you for checking out my candles on Etsy. Doodles.